Hey fam. Hello, 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 hello. How are you guys? I know you haven't seen me in a minute. Um, but I had to make sure that I got the time in to do this live. Um, because I got a lot of emails. People are like, is the Exodus house still going? What is she doing? Blah 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 blah. Um, but when you are trying to uh, when you're trying to do something, you have to have a certain amount of discipline, right? And I'm on here with no braids. Don't be shocked. Okay, I have my hair is natural, but I have not had the time to do no hair. I haven't had the time to do my feet. I haven't had the time to go to the gym. I haven't had the time to uh, even take care of me. So, and I knew that it would be like this in the initial stages. I knew that it would be rough, right? Thank you, Adan. Yes, Wagwan Africa up. Yeah, I knew that it would be like this. I knew that it would take some concentration to get to where I needed to go, or to get to where I needed to take the people who invested in my company. And so I could not regularly do YouTube. I could not commit to anything that anyone would potentially have expectations of me, right? And so, if you go back to like when I just started the Exodus House, I told you that the reason why I didn't start a YouTube channel before is because I am a person who does, I don't talk. And when you're doing certain things, there are certain things that you just simply do not talk about, especially when you're in the process of becoming, and especially if you're in the process of doing something amazing and magical. And not because I'm not on YouTube does not mean that I don't communicate with my investors. We have our private WhatsApp chat. We have our Zoom meetings, one of which I've scheduled also for Sunday. It's 4:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning here. So um, that would be tomorrow, right? Let's see. Hey, thank you, Adam. Me not gone nowhere. Me there upon the gully side. Me there same way. You know, um, I we were doing something, and I say now we because, the people who believed in me and believed in the company to invest in the company, I took them along on a journey, and I shared with them the experiences of what was happening on a daily basis and what was not happening, and my frustrations and my joys. And, I don't necessarily feel like I've won any trophy, even though I'm at the end of this dragged out process. But the only thing I can say is that I misjudged how easy this whole entire process was. I thought it would be much simpler, right? Thank you, Shay. I thought it would be much simpler. I thought um, things would have been resolved a lot faster. And in my experience, I'm not saying my experience and your experience is going to be the same, but in my experience, um, it was not an easy process, especially that we are doing something new, especially that we're bringing something new to the marketplace. We didn't just register a company, and that's something that I need to like go back in my head. We didn't just register a company, we made history. And on top of making history, We are certified by the Tanzanian Investment Center. And on top of that, we are going through the process to get all that we need to make more history, and we're making more connections. And we're doing things here that has never been done here, which puts us in a position of leadership. And because we're in the position of leadership, we're also in the position of education. And so we are touching all of the buttons that I knew we would have to touch. It's like a machine that you see in your head, or a spaceship that you say, I'm going to take it to the moon, and you see it in your head, and then you touch all the buttons, but this in particular experience, it took a lot out of me. It took a lot more than I thought it would. It took a lot more time, and it took a lot more money, and it took a lot more mental fortitude. It took a lot more energy. And if you're out there trying to do something that has never been done, something new, something that is going to not just change your life, but change the lives of others, and change the lives of and the trajectory of an entire country, if you find yourself in that position, you better jump, you better work, you better do all that you can do in every waking moment, every spare time, every ounce that you possibly can. Because if you do not do that, right, you are leaving gaps, and you're leaving things on the table. And for those who don't know what I'm talking about, back in January, I started a company harvesting wild seaweed. Okay, and that is something very phenomenal, because there's no one else. And on top of being there is no one else, we have certain special things that are given to us in order to do this. And in order for us to hold those special things, we need to stay on top of our game completely, right? Thank you, Shay. I missed y'all too. Yes. So then I started a round of investors. I have not celebrated that I opened the round and I closed the round. Because the work began. And right now, at this section where I am now, it's a celebratory event. However, now the work begins. So there's the administrative work that all needs to be done, and I didn't have a lawyer. We did this ourselves. I do not recommend doing this yourself. I do not recommend it at all unless you know what the hell you're doing. And even when you do, oh boy, it's no joke. It's not a party. So now that we're at the end of this process, so when I started, I said I only had room for 10 investors. That is true. So 10 investors I was able to recruit. I was able to raise the capital to do the things that we needed to do to start up the company. Okay. But let's see, we have 10 investors, and we also have room for 10 that we can offer residency. So those people will be issued Class A residency visas and their work permit under this new company. Okay. And that is in addition to investing in the company, they have those rights as investors to live and reside in Tanzania for however long they want, and they pay for their residencies and so forth, in addition to other benefits. And now that we're at the end of the process, I understand that I don't only have those spaces open. I have other spaces open. I have other availability open. But as with everything, it is time, time restraint, time consuming, must be done by this date, must be done by that date. So we are not working on just our schedule, we're working on other people's schedule as well. Okay. And so for those of you who are still interested, I did get a lot of emails about people who were interested in investing. And while going through the process, I could not address any of those issues because that would require more distraction. And just so you're aware that whenever you're starting a company, fundraising is the most time consuming and distracting part of the business when you're starting up. The reason for that is you have to, in addition to put your documents in order and meet with your investors and communicate directly, you have to share your plans, your visions. You have to do a variety of things to bring yourself to the investor so that they can understand your business as a group. And then when people decide that they're going to invest, you have to also do the same thing individually. And being all the way over here in East Africa, I'm not necessarily like somebody to go knock on their door. So I put in the time to make people understand my business, to make people understand what we're doing, where we're going, and all the things that we're doing next, right? So I could not afford I couldn't, while I'm doing the administrative portion of things, I could not also be doing the fundraising. That didn't work. So I'm opening another round, and it's the capital to raise at this time is a little more than what I initially asked for. And I just want you to know I'm not opening the round because I need to fundraise. I'm opening the round now because there is an opportunity for other people who would like to come, okay? And so there are people who've emailed me, oh, I'm sorry I missed this, and I'm sorry I missed that, and I didn't. So there is another opportunity, just so you are aware, okay? So we're still moving along, we're still plugging along, we're not bottlenecked anywhere, we're not stuck anywhere, we're not out of cash, we're not in none of those categories. What I'm doing is I'm letting you know that there is still a way to get in, but you will have to also move quickly. Okay, that's number one. And as you know, all the things that I do, I'm about bringing as many people with us as possible. So for people who are looking to invest, people who are looking to move to Tanzania, people who are looking to get the residency, people who are looking to bring their families, because the opportunities is not just for it's not just for investments. So there are people who have invested in the company who have no interest in residency, moving. They don't need to move, and I do have space open for that. And I did have another block of of people that I can also bring along with me in this company. Okay, that's two. And the third thing that I think is important for people to know right now is so I also did get a lot of emails for CMOS from all over the world. And I couldn't touch it. I couldn't touch it. I couldn't touch it because I had no timetable of when any of this would be completed. I had no timetable. At least now I do. Okay. So we're on the last, and this is going to take less than 2 weeks for everything to be processed. There are people who the CMOS from us, and I had to keep communicating with them and letting them know where we were in the process, because there are some things that we encountered. Okay, it's like you walk into a room and you turn on the light, and when you turn on the light, suddenly you can see that there is furniture in the room, and you can see that there are other things. What we did on mainland Tanzania, we walked into the room and we turned on the light, and that we've turned on the light, the government is very happy that we've turned on the light, and they're like, okay, well, this is what we need y'all to do. We went to one of the nature conservation groups here, and they're like, you turned on the light? Oh, we didn't even know we needed somebody to turn on the light right now. And so even as far as other things, like there's so many things that we walked into. Right timing is one that you cannot do. You can't like dismiss that in this. So what I'm going to say to you, for those of you who are planning to do anything or looking to do anything with your life, man, just get at it, because you don't know when those skills are needed. You don't know when your opportunities are coming. You don't know where the doors are opening from. And if you are not prepared, those doors will close on you quickly. If when you open your mouth, you don't have anything of value to add to the conversation, those doors will shut on you very, very quickly. So you have to decide for yourself, how are you wisely using your time? Are you using your time to develop the skills, to develop the opportunities, to look all around outside of yourself, and what does the marketplace need, and how you can how you can participate, right? Or how you can be a leader. And if you're going to be a leader, you got to be ready to do some work, right? This was work. There is no other way around it. If you want to have massive success in your life, and if you want to have the things today, you want to have the things tomorrow that you don't have today, you have to do the work today so you can have those things tomorrow. There is no substitute for it. There is no cutting the corners. There is none of it. It's just work. Okay? And unfortunately, I'm in the position of of the chief technical officer. I build all the websites. I'm the chief marketer. I'm the the business development specialist. I'm all the people, right? I am all the people, but sometimes that's all you need, right? So for the going back to the CMOS, so yes, so we are now ready. Okay, we are ready with no half stepping. We're ready to move forward. I could not open certain doors. I could not have certain conversations. I could not entertain certain things unless I had everything in hand. And in this day and age, you don't know who is behind a computer sending you a message. You don't know who is communicating with you about what. Um, but that's neither here nor there. But what I'm saying now is we're ready. We have a great supply. We have a great stockpile. We've been collecting our seaweed. We have a special permit that allows us to do some special things, and we're in the position to affect a lot of lives and a lot of people in Tanzania. Um, on one hand, it's almost like unbelievable that what I said I was going to do, I did. But I can there's just no words for how well this project has been received and how well we were able to get everything that we wanted to do done. Right? It took time. It took some time. It took some labor and it took some energy, right? But that's what you're gonna have to do. So in any event, with this company, we are able to do far more than we originally thought. I only saw the tip of the iceberg, and only after excuse me, starting and working and putting everything together, excuse me, did we see everything actually come together and fall in place. So you have to be willing to do the work. That's another thing. And as far as the Exodus house goes, because I am no longer in the position that I was when I started the Exodus house. When I started the Exodus house, we started at a time. Hey, Linnell, how are you? Thank you, Linnell. I appreciate that. Yes. So, we and the Exodus, we did nothing. Nothing. We had no guests, no reservations, no nothing. I shut the site down. I shut the site down from the time we started to up until I think yesterday is when I reopened the Exodus House booking website. Number one, why I shut the site down is when I started this project of the Exodus House, there was a time in America where Black people were being killed and incarcerated indiscriminately, and it shook me. It shook me because it was also the time when the entire world was facing a global pandemic. And people, as well as myself, were in flight mode. Some people were in fight mode and some people were in flight mode. And I decided that I was not going to stay and fight. I fought as much as I possibly could fight. I was not going to stay with some global pandemic and fight on top of that. So I decided to flight. I decided to leave, and realizing that I tapped into my flight mode, and while making YouTube, a lot of people did flight with me. A lot of people saw at what I was doing and understood what I was doing, and they started to flee. And so the mental space that everyone was in was not the mental space uh, to try to do what I was looking to do. Okay. So people were coming emotional, filled with aggression. And, you have to have a strong personality to look at all that the United States offers. The United States as a country offers a lot of good benefits, right? You got your postal service, you can shop online, you got your welfare, you got your unemployment, you've got your social security, you've got your safety nets, you've got your family. And it takes a strong minded person to look at all those comforts and say, with all these comforts, I am still uncomfortable, and leave their comfort zone and come all the way to another country. And so when they come here, their mental space is not necessarily in the place that I was looking to put them in. Okay. And so there was still a lot of buildup, a lot of aggression, a lot of fear, a lot of some people are still, they fled, but they were still fighting. And the first person they met to fight was me. And, the mentality of, kill or be killed was very present with a lot of people who needed to flee. And you needed to be strong. No one that came during that time of COVID was a weak-minded person. Maybe their energies were displaced, but no one who picked up themselves and said, I am getting the hell out of this, and to go seek a better life for myself, my child, none of those people were weak. And so I don't look at the people who came and the people who left as being weak and not being able to hold it down. But I knew that despite the global pandemic, this is where I wanted to be. Whether it was going to be sunny days or rainy days, I'm here for the long haul and the long run, because I came here to raise a kid. Okay. And so my mentality of being settled and grounded and stable and trying to offer that to other people wasn't necessarily what other people were looking for. Okay. And so there are a lot of needs coming through the door. A lot of people needs, when people come here, they don't realize that it's not just I've taken a plane and I've come to Tanzania and I'm going to go find a house. No, a lot of hand holding is needed. Some people need the hand holding and some people don't. And the people who don't need the hand holding, they find themselves in positions where they cannot navigate or master the environment by themselves. And so for the people who are repatriating and moving with their lives, I had to be involved on a daily basis. I had to be involved in, in your finding a house, navigating immigration, on all the little micro things that come up in between. How do you access money? How do you do this? How do you get around? How do you negotiate? How do you do this? And you can tell somebody all you want, but this is also an environment where English is not their first language. And so it's a very difficult situation for some people to navigate. Some people look at me and think that I want to tell them what to do because they've left America and they don't want to also come to an environment where they're being told, or they think or feel that they're being told what to do. And so, there's a lot of involvement to assist people. And I did it for a year. I did it from the time we opened the Exodus house up until the 31st of December 2021. I knew I could no longer continue to do that, because on top of the being involved on a daily basis, there was a lot of emotional toll, because I myself, I had not healed. I had gone through a lot before I came to Tanzania. And I was in film school, and I started a house 1 month after being here. So I hadn't had time to catch my breath. I hadn't had time to process. And so when I opened the doors, it was just like I was just running and being after everyone's needs and providing for everyone else. And the things that I envisioned I was not able to do, I wasn't able to execute. When I said I was moving to Africa, initially I was going to Kenya. I found a whole entire house in Kenya, on the Indian Ocean in Kenya, a 6-bedroom villa. First of all, the Spirit told me to come to Tanzania, but I didn't know nobody in Tanzania. So I decided that I was going to go to Kenya instead. And the Spirit has a way of moving you to make you do what you're supposed to do. 3 times did the Spirit show me Tanzania. I don't know nobody in Tanzania. I'm not going. And so, like Job, I jumped on the ship and I was headed the wrong direction, and the lightning came, and they had to throw me overboard, which they did. And the big whale came and snatched me up in their mouth and spit me up in Nineveh. And I had nothing else to do but to go and proclaim the good works of the Lord in Nineveh. So I was fighting Tanzania. I wasn't going to no Tanzania. I don't know nobody in Tanzania. I've never met another human being. I didn't meet no man online. I didn't meet no one from Tanzania. So when the Spirit showed me Tanzania before the lockdown, I was like, I don't know nobody over there. I'm not going over there. I was going to Kenya. And what I was going to do in Kenya, I was going to take my business development skills and I was going to do my media work. I was on the radio in Jamaica. I had a show called My Business Breakfast. I was on a national radio show. I interviewed the people at the highest levels in business in Jamaica. And I was going to come to Africa and start doing that to attract people back to investing in Africa. That was the plan before COVID. And I decided that before I do that, I am going to get my skills. I'm going to get all the tools I possibly can, whether that was going to be in gem trading, and that didn't pan out because the diamond cutting class itself was more expensive than I wanted to pay. And because I had the skills as an editor, I got a full ride scholarship to film school. And so I decided that I was going to become a documentary filmmaker to have that tool, because it doesn't matter how many years of experience I have. It doesn't matter how much money I have in the bank. I was going to a new place with people I do not know, and I wanted to bring new skills to that new place. And so I had to retool. So during the process of retooling to make my entry to Tanzania is when COVID hit. My town was the first town to shut down in New York, in New Rochelle, New York. You've heard the story before. And I left the same day. They shut down 9 a.m. I was on a plane at 5 p.m. I was out of there. I left it all. I have nothing to go back to. No furniture, no nothing. I walked out and I spent 3 months with my mother in North Carolina, my mom and JoJo in North Carolina. And during that time, a lot of revelations came to me, and I was on a lot of these. I was on Juliet's channel, who is in the Gambia. I spoke with a lot of people. You know, I started to do a lot of research, and you know, life moved on me in a way on Juneteenth, and I decided that I'm done. I'm done. I'm out. And the minute I knew that Tanzania was open, I left. So I hadn't had time to process that. So I arrived July the 9th, 2020. Then I found this house and I signed the lease August 9th, 2020. And when I go back and I look at the things that I was doing, do you know August the 9th, 2019 is when I made this particular video about this house that I wanted in Kenya. And this house, this Exodus house, is an exact replica of that house. And I was able to make this house into what I wanted. So I injected all of my scholarship money. I raised some money. Some people donated. People donated windows. People donated for appliances. I'm not going to lie. People did donate, and people also did the pre-bookings, right? But for what this took to get done, it took a significant amount out of me, energy and effort. And so when I opened the doors to people, it was a place of love and refuge. But I had not had the time to process everything. I hadn't had the time. I hadn't had the time. I was still in film school. I didn't graduate film school until January of 2021. And I opened the Exodus house in March, and we had our grand opening in June. And, you know, there was just so much between film school, construction, furnishing the house. I was on beat every single day. There were no off days. And I hadn't had the time to put things into perspective and focus on this new place that I was in. I hadn't had the time to learn the language. Excuse me. I hadn't had the time to navigate. I didn't have the time to go visit anywhere. I didn't really arrive in Tanzania until 1 year later. My presence, my physical presence was here, but my mind was not, because I had only gone to 2 places, my house and the Exodus house, and probably to get it to buy materials. That was my whole world. Going to dinner, going to Zanzibar, going places and seeing things and all that stuff. I have none of it. Didn't take my kid to a museum, didn't take my kid anywhere. You know? And then, so processing all of that. And, you know, there were some experiences that I could have very well done without in between that. And there are things that I don't talk about on here because, you know, the energy that I was attracting when I started this project was not the right kind of energy. And I needed to bounce back to where I said I wanted to be. When I came to the continent, Renee wanted to teach people how to invest in the continent and show people business opportunities on the continent. And I am in no doubt, even after all that I've been through, that I'm supposed to be in Tanzania. No doubt at all. I am in no doubt that the mission that I set out to do, which is showing people opportunities for investments and how to invest in the continent, I have no doubt that I'm on the right path. And so the Exodus House as a place for the repatriation, I have to reformulate and remodel that, because that time of people fleeing and people coming with a kind of energy that isn't necessarily going to be productive for themselves or for me, that time has passed. I can no longer commit my time or my energy to taking you here and taking you there and sitting with you for an hour or two, or making myself being visible and available to you and being more involved than a hotel owner would be involved. If you go to the Landmark Hotel, they take your money. You're on your own, right? You are at the mercy of misinformation and misguided people on all of these WhatsApp groups. You're seeking to make friends and people are seeking to make money. That's the real truth. Okay? So as far as the Exodus project, as far as repatriation, I am no longer able to do that from that perspective. But what I can commit to is investors, entrepreneurs, because to be honest with you, if you're going to come out here and say you're moving to some Tanzania, you are going to have to be an investor and you must be an entrepreneur. Okay, now at what level of investment, that question is up to you. How much money you're able to commit to doing that, anywhere from 10,000 upwards just to get your documents in hand. Okay, and I'm talking about the fees. I'm not talking about all of the other little things that come in between. I'm not talking about signing your lease and your rent. I'm not talking about your transportation, your food, your meals, your board. I'm not and all the things that you need to do before you actually hit the ground with those 10 G's. Okay, and so this is why I'm saying to you now is that there is a door that is open for those who are still looking to partner with me as far as this business is concerned. A door is still open. This is not for the lighthearted. If you do not know what you're doing, you can lose a significant amount of money. If you know what you are doing and you have the right partners on the ground, you can make a lot of money. Okay, so those are the things that I wanted to talk about. So yes, I shut down the website, and yes, I refuse reservations, and yes, a lot of people messaged me and emailed me and communicated with me about coming, and no, I could not entertain those. And yes, did it cost me money? It sure did. Did I lose some money? I sure did. But I was not in a position to pick up coins when I had gold bars waiting for me in the future if I step on the right gas and I flip the right switches. All right. So I'm not going to tell you that I am available to do the things that I once did before, because I cannot. It is go time. Okay. And I have investors now, and there's a thing called responsibility. I have to be cognizant of how I'm using each and every moment of my time. Are my activities beneficial to the group? Are my activities beneficial to producing the kind of results that I want? And if it's not, I have to reassess. I have to reassess and I have to reassert. So I have rebranded, I have reopened the website. We're moving forward. We have other different channels that we're going to be working through. I've said this a couple of times that I do own other digital channels. When I say I own the digital channel, I don't mean I own another YouTube channel. I mean I own another YouTube. I don't mean I own this or own another program. It means I actually have developed the software and I have these other platforms. I do have television channels on Roku. I do have other TV channels. So this is not my only place, but this is the only place where I had to stop. And where I found myself was in a place of there's just so much in the repatriation and so much negativity, and so much competition and so much sourness and so much stuff. And I'm like, how did I invest this kind of time, energy, and money to end up in this place? And so I have to step out of that. So as far as the repatriation goes, there are other people who are looking to repatriate families, who are looking to invest the time and energy, take you around, but when you go to do the work with those people, remember to be kind to them. Remember that time is money. If they're giving you their time, you have to make sure that you're compensating them for their time. You have to make sure there's nothing free out here. There's no one providing anything out here. There's no free gas out here. There is no free time out here. People are trying to eat and people are trying to take care of their family and their children and their businesses. So if you are going to work with those other families, remember that it doesn't stop at paying for your Airbnb or paying for your stay where they are. If you're taking up their time, you have to consider that time is time that should have been done something else. So where I am now, I would like to work with entrepreneurs. My strong skill set is in business development, and those are the people that I think I would need to work with closely. There are people who are looking to repatriate with their family and they don't understand that you have to be looking at investment first. You have to be looking at entrepreneurship first. If you have the kind of money to just go at it, by all means do. But are you here to lose money or make money? Are you here to put yourself on the other side of that, place? Or are you here to just be another, well, I came to Tanzania and it didn't work for me, so I left? No. All right. So those are the things that I wanted to say. I know I said a lot, and I know a lot of people are with me. And I see I got 22 of y'all eyeballs looking at me. But I appreciate your time. What time is it? It is 5:24. That means I've been on here for over an hour. And I have a lot of work to do. So as far as the Exodus House goes, we are back to taking reservations. We're looking for people who are business-minded, people who are looking to come. If you're coming with your family, you need to understand what that entails, what you need to do in order to do that. You do not need to be in Tanzania to invest in companies, and you also don't need to be the resident in the to obtain residency uh, to invest in Tanzania as well. I have investors. I've been very transparent with them. Um, and their names, all their information is listed on the company documents. There is no question mark as to what I'm doing and how I'm communicating with people. So go ahead and communicate with me. The opportunities that we have for investing in our CMOS business. On top of that, you can obtain your residency, and you can be here for as long as you need to be here. You will need to renew your work permit and your labor permit every 2 years, but we are a certified company. We're certified through the Tanzanian Investment Center. We have special permits from the Tanzanian government. We have a lot of things that make us unique and a unicorn in the marketplace, and we are going to the moon, right? Seriously. So communicate with me. This is my email address. And yes, I still do consultations for people who are looking to come start their own business. Yes. So I know I said a lot, but I really had to get into it so people understood where I was. Right? These big old bags, they can tell you all you need to know. I've been to the land of sleepless nights, but great, amazing things have been happening. I will have another Zoom call. I will have another Zoom meeting for those of you who would like to attend that next Zoom meeting. I don't discuss half or a third of what I have to say on YouTube. So if you would like to attend the Zoom meetings, there is a fee for that. Please go ahead and email me exodusafrica1@gmail.com. Right? And for those of you who are out there trying to do something and trying to get something done, all I have to say is don't try, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Like, learn as much as you possibly can. Do the research. Understand the whole thing. Yes, thank you, Linnell. Understand the whole thing from the beginning to the end of your process. Okay, because you don't know where where that research and that data and that information is can take you. Okay, we have a lot to offer. We have a lot to do, and we're doing a lot. And so I thank all of the people, the investors who have hung in there with me. It's now April. We started this in January. That's a long time. That is a super long time. But we're ready to hit. We're ready to hit it. We're ready to take the orders. The website is almost ready for people to purchase directly through the website. I'm going to publish that as we go along. I needed to get on the other side. I sent you, I think I did a video that said, message from the cliff, because I was on the other side. I was on the other side of where I needed to be now. And I jumped and I'm here, and I am so happy about how everything has progressed, with the exception of how long it took. But apart from that, we are in a very, very good place. And we have all of our administrative paperwork. We have just one thing that we're waiting to be processed this week, and we're done, right? So thank y'all so much for watching. Please email me, communicate with me. As I said, the website is now functioning and working for those of you who'd like to come. In June, we are still going to be doing our investment drive. we're working along with one of the investment agencies here to organize information for you. I needed that time to get all of my ducks in a row to know for a fact exactly the truth. Because unfortunately, you know, when you're in a developing country, things are not like straight. Even in America, things aren't straight, but things are not always straight. It's more like this, and right? And so I had to get all of the information properly. I had to get all of the details accurately. I had to be correct in about the things that I'm delivering and the information that I'm delivering to people. Okay, so we are in a great place. Please email me, and I will let you know the date of the next Zoom meeting for potential investors. So with that said, I have some things to do online. It is what, 5:28, and that was my hour. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate your time, and I'll be coming back and putting more videos out so people can know what's going on and where we are. And yes, we are ready for those orders on the CMOS, right? We're ready for it. I'm sorry it took this long, but like I said, we're doing something that has never been done before. You know, as far as the when you come to the Zoom call, you will understand. This is we've made a lot of history with this company already, and we haven't even started. But we have all that we need. We have our paperwork, we have everything in order. Okay, thank y'all so much for watching. Bye bye. Hey PT, morning. All right, take care. Bye y'all.